Hello, everybody. Doing something different out of organizational desires. So here I am, a blackout reading for the full moon in Capricorn. So yes, if this is your first time hearing my voice, welcome. I go by May, Lady May, and this is the Perlinwood channel. So far, I have mainly covered the new and full moon phases with random topics here and there, but like I said in the beginning, definitely looking to get more organized. So, where to begin? The full moon in Capricorn. It shone at its peak on July 10th, 2025, and it was at 18 degrees. According to the degree theory, 18 degrees is a Virgo degree. And I did do my homework on this moon, so I have a few pinpoints, questions, themes for a Virgo-influenced full moon in Capricorn. Okay. Says digestion and processing of what structure, ambition, and limitations truly mean. And then I have, what do the structures of your life say about your ability to trust the process? The process being the process of change, death, and rebirth. And the last question I have written down is, are you able to separate the wheat from the chaff? Alrighty. So this moon is definitely the energies of this full moon in Capricorn. The new moon was at a Virgo degree also, so a lot of digesting and processing. And in these current times, if you are not coming from the inside out, you are probably realizing that there is a lot out there to digest as well as a lot to process. Okay, and I'll just go ahead with the tip. In energies like this, limit what's on your plate. Okay, you don't have to stay in touch with every single story. Okay, because as you see, the way that the media is designed now, they have breaking news at all hours of the night. You can access information from any side of the planet at your fingertips. Okay, so please just calm the nervous system. Do not overwhelm the nervous system, because just like physically eating, if your body is always digesting and doesn't have a time to process the food for nutrients, you're always going to be backed up and you're going to have a lot of hard shit. Okay, and that is very hard to pass. Okay, people. Okay, so another tip, stay hydrated. The true key to hydration is to drink water that is alive, so water that comes from actual fruits and vegetables, as well as make sure you are getting electrolytes. A very simple drink you can make with water. Just throw some lemon and some sea salt and bean. You have a hydrating drink. And hydration also helps with digestion and processing. All right. So how do I want to do this? We're at 5 minutes. Maybe I'll just go ahead and go through my normal process of getting the cards and seeing what the cards are saying, as well as just throwing in my little anecdotes and tidbits as we go along. Excuse me if you hear a lot of rattling and rustling in a different space. But all right, 555 at 1:11 a.m. All right, let's get to it. I don't think I said, but I hope you guys are doing well. I'm glad you can tune in. I'm going to try to keep this as potent and precise as possible. All right, so we're going to start with the theme. What is the overall theme for us under the energies of this full moon in Capricorn at 18 degrees? 18, 1 and 8. That is a 9. We are currently in a 9 year. So yes, just a little bit more about me. Definitely use occult, metaphysical, unique, unconventional, taboo, whatever you want to say. I definitely tap into these methods to see more beyond the veil, as they say, or better yet, express what is beyond the veil, because it gets to a point when there's not really a veil. It's more like a bridge, but we can chat more about that any other time. What is the theme of this full moon in Capricorn for us collectively? We got Mercury. The key word on this is messages, and it's a very interesting card. It has a caduceus on it, of course, and this has 2 snakes, a black snake and a white snake. This is also, according to Chinese astrology, the year of the snake, the wood snake at that. Wood comes from trees. Trees have deep roots. So, a shedding of the roots. But again, we're getting some more cards. I have 4 decks. What is the theme? Okay, this shot right on out. And we have Inner Darkness. It is number 5. And it is associated with the air element. The keywords are hold safe space, knowing patterns, release versus feed. Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury stations retrograde on the 17th. So definitely a time to go within. Saturn just went retrograde also. I believe Neptune is retrograde. So we are definitely in a time of seeking the truth within first. Theme. Time to act. This card says, you don't have to know everything in advance. Take the first step and watch it all unfold. You can deal with whatever your path reveals. You are ready. Okay. The theme. Call to action. I pulled from this deck. We're being called to act. The action. Know patterns. Know what to release. Know what is worth feeding and worth nourishing. So at the new moon in Cancer, the nourishing. New nourishing practices. The full moon in Capricorn. Releasing old structures to make space for better, newer and better ways of nourishment and nurturance. All right, last card for the theme before we get into the nitty and the gritty. What is the theme of this full moon in Capricorn 2025? Angel's Trumpet. Number 46. It is associated with the planets, Pluto, as well as Mars. And the key word on here is death. This card looks like it has the angel of death on it, and there is a bat. So bat symbolism. And speaking of bat symbolism, that makes me want to take it back just a little bit to a huge event we just went through together not too long ago, but longer ago than it probably feels like. 5 years ago, the pandemic. And they were saying, you know, when everything was first coming out, you know, they were saying it had to deal with the bats in China, the bats in caves and things like that. And what do we need to know about bats? What can we learn from bats? Bats sleep upside down, hang upside down. It conserves energy. The last time I looked it up, that's why they do that. They also communicate as well as travel, I believe, through echolocation. So noise, their messages. So yes. Releasing old structures. I would say probably around like one of the questions that I wrote down about the process. What do the structures of your life say about your ability to trust the process? The process of change, death, and rebirth. So with Mercury going into retrograde is definitely the perfect time. These energies are definitely supporting reevaluating the structures in life because collectively we are going through a death of the old structures. You don't have to know everything. Trust what is flowing through you. So maybe your action is to hold safe space for others or for yourself. Because whichever end of the spectrum you're on, as far as wanting things to change or not wanting things to change or just not giving a hoot, there's an action for all of us. The action might also be knowing patterns, meaning after you've been through the process of change, death, and rebirth, you've been through it more than once, more than twice, it's easier to pinpoint what's going on. and being able to acknowledge that, hey, regardless of how things look or feel, whether it's dense or light or a combination of the two, waxing and waning, on and off, whatever, it's all a part of the same process. And things have to die before they can be reborn. Capricorn season is in the winter, so the energies of this full moon are giving us a glimpse. They're giving us a winter in the summer. And in the southern hemisphere, while it's summer right now, it's winter there. So another action to take is to know what season of life you're in, and depending on that season, what you can contribute to this overall death process for us collectively. But all right, let's get into this further. I'm probably going to read what Mercury says from the guidebook. This is a newer deck I have. Mercury symbolizes your mental switchboard, how you think, communicate, and move through the world. The smallest planet rules Gemini and Virgo and is closest to the Sun, completing its orbit in about 88 Earth days. Because it orbits so close, it can only be found in the same sign as the Sun, the one before it or the one after it. Mercury has a large, dense, molten core, and one day on the planet takes 58 Earth days. Mercury retrogrades 3 times a year for 3 weeks, slowing time so you can remember, review, and connect. Action. Communicate. The mood is quick, fast, and cerebral. Look at your situation from many different sides. Be light on your feet and make sure you have all the information you need. If not, be ready to research, investigate, translate, mediate, check your facts, and learn. Follow up on all lines of communication to make sure others understand what you said and you understand what they intended. 1, 2, 3. Publish, broadcast, network, and engage social media. Make the calls, submit the resume, send the manuscript. Check all Mercury-ruled equipment, such as vehicles and communication electronics. Proofread and back up your files. Mythological Mercury could be a trickster when he worked for himself, but he also played the role of psychopomp, diving into the underworld to escort trapped spirits out of it. If you need to go down into your own personal underworld, it may be time to walk with a therapist, shamanic healer, or other integrous guide into the deep realm. Challenge. When a quick mind is not connected to the heart, it can cause trouble. Watch out for the busy hamster wheel of the mind. Shallow thinking, scattered, dishonored, or glib approaches, and mistakes made when in a rush. Gift. Mercury was the messenger of the gods. Listen deeply to the messages of your soul, the conduit to spirit, and become the messenger. All right. The action. Communicate. Express yourself. Express what season you're in. And as it said, if you are needing, I just want it to be known, if you are needing some guidance and some support through this dark time, I am definitely open to that. My contact information is somewhere. Again, I'm getting organized, so it'll be either on my channel or in the description. So let's keep going. How are the energies of this full moon Capricorn directly affecting us? Progressions, journey. Number 56. All right, I'm going to pull up all of these and then we're going to connect the dots. All right, and how are the energies of this full moon in Capricorn working in our favor? We got trine sextile, number 52, symbiosis. So 56, 5 and 6 is 11, the master number 11. And then 52, 5 and 2 is 7. 7 is a very magical number, mystical number. 11, 7, 20, and 46, and 5. 4 and 6 is 10, which is a 1. 2 and 0 is a 2. So we have 1, 2, 5, 7, and 11. Alright, how are the energies of this full moon Capricorn going to challenge us or create obstacles or be at a disadvantage? Transits. Number 55. The keyword is climate. I did see 555 at the beginning of the reading. So, yeah. Change, death, and rebirth. The process. Alright, and how do we best utilize these energies of this full moon in Capricorn? Midheaven. Number 36. 3 and 6 is 9. The keyword is pinnacle. How do we best utilize these energies of the full moon in Capricorn? And then we got dragon's blood. Number 51 is associated with, what is this? Is it Lilith? Is it Chiron? And Pluto. Pluto is retrograde also. Alrighty, so that is, we have all of our cards. So let's chat a bit, connect some dots a bit. Don't want to make it too long. So, how it's directly affecting us, progressions. As far as astrology goes, in my own studies, I never kept up with stuff. I never kept up progressions and things because I feel like that kind of takes the fun out of it. And that's all I'm going to comment on it. Let's see what the guidebook says. Progressions, journey. The planets continuously move through time and space. When you are born, you imprint the patterns of that moment, which are described in your natal chart. But the planets keep moving, and you also imprint the patterns they make as they progress through those first few months. These progressions sketch out the big, sweeping journey of your life. You live that pattern out at roughly the rate of a year to a day for the rest of your life. Once you are born, you can't choose the cycles you live through, but you always choose how you respond. Notice how this card says has the word patterns, and one of the themes, inner darkness, one of the key phrases is knowing patterns. So potentially this is your call to keep up with the patterns of your natal chart. Again, astrology is a system that I use to help express beyond the veil. You can reach out to me, specifically, or you can use the web. Like Mercury says, communicate. Action. Progressions do not speak of a passing thing, but to the big, sweeping arcs of karmic fate to your soul's journey. Your present situation may not make sense in the short term because it has more to do with big karmic patterns and how those intersect with the karmic patterns of the world's progress, and less to do with your daily existence. Stand back and look at your life's journey. Think of the years you engaged with the world and the years you needed time for more personal work. Consider making a timeline or painting this landscape to see where you are in those big sweeping patterns. The situation may feel fated, but the outcome is not predestined. Though you may feel uncomfortable, you always have a choice about how you respond and where you go. To help guide you in the moment, consider where you would like to be at the end of your life, a far distant point, and look back. Let this future become your lighthouse to guide you. Even though you may have to go around the rocks and work with the tides, let your lighthouse guide you. Challenge. This is not a small obstacle or opportunity. This is part of a complex pattern. Every choice you make changes how it unfolds. Gift. Trust the tides and set your own sails. So, what I take from this is this point in time when structures die was already predestined. Okay. And even more specifically, this specific time in life. So the years, the 2020s. Okay. Earth is ascending. Earth's consciousness, she has chosen to allow her consciousness to ascend and to elevate. So with that being said, she also has to make space physically and spiritually. And as inhabitants of Earth, we are naturally going to go through the same things. So naturally, that is why this is affecting us probably heavier than anticipated. And heavier probably than in any time that's been recorded in a while, of course. All right, and how is the energies of this moon working in our favor? We got trine and sextile. Number 52, 5 and 2. Changes in partnerships. 5 and 6, progressions and how it's directly affecting us. It is the energies of this full moon in Capricorn is pushing us towards our mastery. And I get that from the master number. 5 and 6 is 11. 5 and 2. Changes to partnerships. Trine and sextile. Those are aspects. So let's see what the guidebook says. And this is the Star Codes Astro Oracle by Heather Rowan Robbins. I'm enjoying this deck. Trine and sextile planets promote collaboration by backing one another up, cheering one another on, and adding strength and value to their roles. A trine is formed by two planets 1/3 of the way around the circle from each other, 120 degrees apart. A sextile is half that, 60 degrees apart. Trine planets operate from the same element, fire, earth, air, or water, and speak that language. Sextile planets relate from the same polarity but in different modalities, cardinal, fixed, or mutable. They operate like supportive, non-competitive best buddies. Action. Lean into what is easy and comfortable and use that comfort to renew, grow, and expand. Look for people who have compatible and complementary ideals or skills to yours. Work with your allies. Gently expand your world through compatible people, collaborative skills, and through doing what you love. Look for a person who holds a missing piece of the project and bring them in. Find those whose work you approve of and invest in them. Engage family members and friends who really understand you. Explore what you have in common with a beloved and focus on that. rather than on your differences, and build out from there. Wander in a favorite landscape and learn from what you find there. Play your favorite music on a new instrument. Bring your attention to where the energy flows easily, where support can be found, where enthusiasm exists. Grow organically. When life is hard, a dinner with friends where you can laugh, relax, and let down your guard can be great medicine. What a balm to talk over problems with someone who understands your worldview and to whom you don't need to explain yourself. Moments of ease can prepare us for bigger challenges ahead. Challenge. The path of least resistance can be both delightful and limiting. Don't get stuck in a comfortable rut. Gift. Lift one another up and grow. The comfort of compatible aspects can help us build up the resources needed to do the hard work and face the tough stuff. And this is what's working in our favor. In the dark times, we are all like moths to a flame. It's very easy to find the light in the dark. So it is the energies of this full moon in Capricorn are going to make it easy for us to find those we can work with and those we can be up under during the darkness. Because it'll be easy to see the light that matches yours. You know, if you have a green light, you'll see other people with green lights, or, you know, the complementary color of green, based on the color theory anyway. You'll see people with red, and then you'll see, you know, and green's a primary, green is a secondary color, so you'll see probably other secondary colors. Purple. What's the other secondary color? Green and orange. So yes, orange, green, and purple. Y'all get where I'm going with that, hopefully. The color theory. Find your people, because they're looking for you. Find your people, find your groups, and do the damn thing. But let's get on to the challenge. How is the energies of this full moon in Capricorn challenging us? And I get the card transits. It is numbered 55. So we have 2 10s, 4 and 6, and 5 and 5. So we just got full on change with 5 and 5. And then we have structured, organized community, harmonization, balance between the inner and outer world, the structure towards that with 4 and 6. Let's see what transits has to say for us. The planets are always moving through time and space, always spinning around us. When those planets form geometric relationships to one another, they create transits, the astrological weather conditions of the day that affect us all. When a moving planet forms a geometric relationship to a planet in your natal chart, that transiting planet can act like a guest who enters your house, sits in your kitchen, or sprawls in your living room. It activates that part of your existence. If that transiting planet talks to your Mars, it activates your warrior nature and fight or flight response. If it talks to your moon, it initiates a story centered around your home, your family, and how you nurture yourself. Action. This situation is in flux and the surrounding conditions are changing. Stay alert, aware, and be ready to respond to incoming dangers and opportunities. Some people are moving in, others are leaving. New opportunities open and old chapters close. Listen to the grapevine for changes in personnel or economic conditions. You are not in control of these elements, but you can make the most of these changes and dance with fate. People that walk into your life now may be karmically important. Either the relationship will last a long time, or it may be short, pithy, and teach you a valuable lesson. It can be helpful at this point to look at the transits in your natal chart. There is no volume control on this card's energy. Transits may trigger a small change in the personnel around you, or it can signal a shooting star that blazes across your life and turns your direction entirely. You have choices, though. Ask for grace and guidance when responding to the changing circumstances. Challenge. Wild cards are in play. You are not in control of who or what now brushes your life, and that can be scary. Gift. Even though life is an ever-moving circus, you do not control the people and events transiting your life. Know that you are in complete control of your response to the transit. Choose wisely. Okay, so yes, things are popping off. Okay. Y'all can't control y'all's president. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. Y'all can't control him. And there's no point in using him or his cabinet or anything outside of the self in your immediate environment. You do not need to use that as a barometer as to how you should act. Okay. You are not alone in this. We are all facing these things. So, time to look at y'all's birth charts. Okay. Let me see the chart. If y'all want to know, let me see. All right, and we're down to the last bit. We're at 36 minutes. Midheaven, 36. Keyword being pinnacle. I was a jock. I ran track, and when you run the 200 or the 400, the curves are a major part of it. And if you know how to utilize them, you can definitely run a smooth 200 or a 400. And the top of the curve is called the pinnacle. Now let's see what this has to say. Midheaven. The midheaven contains clues about how your family trained you to be visible in the world, your relationship to other people's authority, and how you step into your own personal authority. It describes the future mountaintop, the pinnacle of your work in the world. The midheaven is the highest point of the chart, where the sun would be at midday. This most public visible point of the chart acts like the flagpole on top of your personal castle. Action. Inventory your professional reputation and ask what you can do to strengthen it. Update your website. Look at your definition of success and make sure it is your own, actually makes you happy, and is not one you have inherited from your family or mentors. Think about the training you've received from these authorities and notice where it still serves you and where you need to release their preconceptions and step into something bigger. You may need to go back to hidden dreams or reawaken an ambition that may not make sense to anybody else. If you choose not to seek your sense of accomplishment as reflected in the outside world, your midheaven can speak of a quieter sense of personal authority. This is your life. Define the mountaintop for yourself. Take a next step in that direction. Challenge. Traditions. Other people's expectation or your family history may be complementary to your idea of your own potential, or they may be hurdles to overcome as you find your true path. Gift. Underneath all worldly sense of ambition is a soul's longing to live out its potential. Listen to the call. The old is dying. Who are you when things change? And just like the theme, inner darkness, it says release versus feed. And the midheaven card says, think about the training you've received from these authorities and notice where it still serves you and where you need to release their preconceptions and step into something bigger. Okay, this is a time where we really have to choose wisely. Are we going to continue to feed the old that is literally dying at 144? Or are we going to release it so it can transform fully and go through the full alchemical ascension process? Okay, because that's truly what personal authority is. It's the goal is to be sovereign. The goal is to have a direct say over the self. And the midheaven is the most visible act of such. The midheaven is also the 10th house, which is ruled by Capricorn. So yes, our personal authority is being highlighted at this time, and whatever needs to go, I'm sure you're feeling it. And now let's read Dragon's Blood, Anima Mundi, the world's soul. And this is the last card. Dragon's Blood, Anima Mundi. Upright, oneness, merging with the divine, access to the world's soul, occult knowledge, initiation, universal donor, entry into the great void. Reversed, lost in the unknown, dark magic, overwhelm, inner conflict, blocked spiritual insight. Yes, like I was saying earlier, I'm still learning the glyphs. It is associated with Lilith, Black Moon Lilith. And Pluto. Pluto's retrograde. Mercury's about to go retrograde. Definitely in a time of choice. Saturn, very Saturnian energy, obviously. Guidance from Dragon's Blood. Dragons are ancient guardians of the earth, symbolizing hidden knowledge and auspicious powers of supernatural origin. Dragons are etheric beings that inhabit the deepest pockets of the ethers, and have dominion over the 4 elements. Dragon's blood core oozes blood, representing the collective blood, the blood of nature, and serving as a gateway to the Anima Mundi, the world's soul. As you enter the all-seeing portal of the great void, don't shy away from its vastness. Embrace it as you are undergoing this great initiation. Within this awakening, you will discover the unique pattern you contribute to the great tapestry of life. Again, I just love when this happens. The word pattern, inner darkness. Okay. Know yourself from the inside out. Okay. The best way to utilize the energy of this full moon in Capricorn is to know the self. Okay. Black Moon Lilith in the birth chart. It is associated with where you store your rage and where rage has been suppressed, repressed within you due to societal factors. Anything on the outside of you, really, due to external factors and structures that, again, are dying now. So before a rebirth, you have to embrace that period of death, and that's where we are. We have to embrace this period of things no longer existing, and that is called the void. Just think, Omega. It is where everything is born and nothing dies. So, the best way to utilize this is to sit with the self, know the self from the inside out, and pay attention to the role that you are meant to play now that the old is confirmed dead and dying away. And that's what I have for this full moon in Capricorn. I trust that it has something. These videos are usually my longer ones. I just like to go into whatever detail that I can. I'm looking forward to collaborating. I'm looking forward to finding people whose light matches mine. You know, I'm looking forward to the symbiosis. I'm looking forward to the joy of the journey. I'm looking forward to enjoying this journey. And again, if you are listening this far and, you know, are looking for some help, some guidance, some support, some giggles, just anything, any type of human nature, feel free to reach out. My contact information will be able to be found, whether on the channel or in the description box, because your girl, Lady May, is getting more organized, because the time is now and the time is calling for it. Okay. And at 1:51, and I have 51% on my device. Okay. So 15151. I also saw 515 when we recorded. So please look into number 15 or 515. I'll probably put that in the description. All right, you guys. Peace out. I'm chatty. Talk later.